What's up guys, this is Michael with Crash Course Code, and this is going to be the 17th video in this Java programming series. In this video I'm just going to cover a little bit more on Boolean values. So I kind of grazed over this I think in a couple tutorials back here, but now I want to actually kind of go over them in depth. So a Boolean value is really just a value that has a value of true or a value of false. Generally, when you're programming, this can equate also to 1 and 0. 1 generally always meaning true, and 0 generally meaning false. So let's just create a quick little method right here. We're going to call it public static void is greater than. So this method is going to take two arguments. We're going to say int n1 and int n2. And all this method is going to do is if n1 is greater than n2, we want to return true. So to do that, we actually need to create a return type. If you guys saw this, I put void instead of a actual return type. So this actually is not going to return anything just yet. We need to change this to Boolean. That is the keyword for Boolean values. So yeah, so now this is going to return a Boolean value that is either true or is false. So we're going to say if n1 is greater than n2, we want to return true, and else we're going to return false. And I want to show you guys this. If you just have one line, you guys might be wondering why there aren't any brackets here. If you just have one line of code within your if statement, you can actually leave the brackets out. It's the same exact thing. Basically, it just kind of makes the code a little bit cleaner by leaving the brackets out. That's totally just a style thing. Personally, I like leaving the brackets out. I think it looks better that way when there's just one statement. And yeah, just so you guys don't get confused, you generally do need to put brackets in here. So let's say I had 2 lines of code within this if statement, I would have to put the brackets in there. So this is just our function here. If n1 is greater than n2, it's going to return true. So let's call this function. So we're going to do system.out.println. We want to print this out to our console. And let's say is greater than 5 and 3. So this is going to return true just because 5 is greater than 3. You'll see that, awesome, it returns true here. And if we put in like 1 for instance, it's going to return false. So you use Boolean values a lot when you do end up programming for things like in game programming in particular. You use Boolean values for things like letting the computer know that the game has started, letting the computer know that the game has ended, and various other toggles within a game, or lots of other programs as well. So I just want to show you guys a pretty quick way you can actually shorten this. You can just take this out and return n1 greater than n2. So we had 4 lines of code before, now we just have 1. So this is the better way to handle this kind of case. It takes some, generally the intuition is to do the if statement. So if this is true, else it is false. But this will return true if n1 is greater than n2 when you use these comparison operators here. So if I were to say n1 equals, any comparison operator you use is going to return a true or a false value between these two numbers. So you don't actually have to have that if statement. So this is just a more concise way of showing it, and it's also easier to read when you have many functions and you just want to make your code a little bit more succinct. So that is really going to be it for the Boolean video here. We're going to be using it more in future videos. So thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video.